Welcome to Hennett Minutes. I'm Greg Hennett, and today's talk is titled, Who is Your God? It'll be a short but a searching message. We know in ancient times that the pagan peoples worshiped other gods, idols. They weren't really gods, they were demons, but they worshiped them vainly. Sadly and tragically, God's own people, the Jews, who knew the true God, also began to worship the idols. And they continued to do it, and it led to their downfall. Well, Christians are no different. We have a fallen nature, and our fallen nature inclines toward idolatry. Yes, we need to know that. We need to face it. What is an idol? Well, an idol is anything or any person that you love more than God or you trust in more than God. That's an idol. Let's give you some examples. For instance, money. The love of money is the root of all evil, or a root of all evil, said Paul in 1 Timothy chapter 6. How true that is. Some people make getting money everything. Then when they die, they just give that money to somebody else, and it's valueless in eternity. Pleasure. Many Christians are seeking pleasure illicitly in affairs. They're putting sexual pleasure before pleasing God. Political leaders. Sometimes we trust in our political leaders more than we do Jesus. That's wrong. We should respect them if they're good, but never trust in them wholly. Then men's approval. We want people's approval. We want them to like us and to think well of us. If we don't get it, we're downcast. So sometimes that can be an idol of the heart. Then possessions, having another house, having a bigger house, a nicer house, or a car, or clothes, or a jewelry or something, some kind of possession. We put it before God. And then sports. Sports is clearly an idol in the heart of many men and women. Otherwise, it wouldn't be such a mega industry in America. People idolize sports figures and consider them far more important than they really are. Then children, either having children or the children that we have, we put them before God. We know about the Catholic gods. The Catholics make idols of Mary. It's very obvious. And also of the Pope. Well, we can criticize their idolatry and ignore our own to our own detriment. Then success. Well, we want to be successful in whatever we do, and we want to be at the very top. We must be number one, and that can become an idol of the heart, something we desire and love more than the Lord. Ministers, we should respect our ministers and thank God for them, but sometimes we trust in them too much and think that they are infallible. No. The Word of God is infallible, but ministers are fallible. So we should respect them, but not make a little God out of them. Then spouses. Sometimes having a wife or having a husband becomes such an obsession with someone that just fills their whole mind's eye. They can see nothing else. If you're in academics, sometimes distinguished academics and their degrees impress you so much, and you think too highly of these people. And you take their opinions and don't even doubt them. And then there's professional honors, whether you're a lawyer or a doctor or in some other profession, and you want to have the honors and accolades that go along with rising to the top of that profession. Well, there could be 1,000 other things that could be idols of our heart. But in all of them, the real central idol, the real God that sits on the throne of our heart, just like Antichrist will sit on the throne of the third temple, is self. Pleasing ourselves. We use these other objects to please ourselves. So self is the great idol of our hearts. We need to face that. Well, how will we know the idols of our own heart, the things that we're loving more than God or trusting more than God? How will we know? How can we recognize them? Well, it's very simple. The test will tell. What you consistently choose in the test will tell who is the real God of your heart. And if you have an idol and what that idol is. Because tests force a heart-revealing decision. So if in test after test after test you put a particular person or thing before the Lord, then that is your idol. You need to face it, confess it to the Lord as sin, and renounce it. And let the Lord know you put Jesus back on the throne of your heart from now on. And then continue to prove that, because he's going to test you, by putting Jesus and his will above your own will, your self-will, in regard to these former idols. So I ask you today, who is your God?